Greetings and shalom or shalom. Now, what is love? Our concept of love, or what we believe love to be is based around our surroundings, our interactions with the people who are close to us, family members or friends. Now, when it comes down to certain religious sects like Christianity and whatnot, they always use the word love, okay? But sometimes love can be taken out of context. So we have to figure out what is love through the scriptures. And it's quite easily to see through the scriptures and the precepts what love is truly about, based on the Hebrew Bible, which is law, history, and prophecy. Now we're at John chapter 14, verse 15. This is Yahweh speaking, or who the world calls Jesus. If ye love me, keep my commandments. Plain and simple. Now we're at 1 John chapter 5, and we're going to read 1 through 3. Whosoever believes that Jesus or Yahweh is the Christ or the HaMashiach is born of God, and everyone that loveth him that begot loveth him also that is begotten of him. By this we know that we love the children of God, which are the Israelites, the 12 tribes, when we love the Most High and keep his commandments. Verse 3, for this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. Now we're at 2 John chapter 1, verse 6. And this love, that we walk after his commandments, this is the commandment, and that as ye have heard from the beginning, and ye should walk in it. Verse 7. For many deceivers are entered into the world, who confess not that Jesus Christ or Yahweh is not come in the flesh. In order to come in the flesh, you have to have sexual intercourse between a man and a woman, the man's seed. Okay, this is a deceiver and an antichrist. So there are many antichrists out here in the modern world who confess that Jesus is not real or is a myth or mythos. Now we're going to read Romans chapter 13. We're going to read verse 8 through 11. Owe no man anything but to love one another. For he that loveth another has fulfilled the law. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, and it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, meaning what? Love your brother. Verse 10, love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. And the neighbor is just in context to the Israelites, your brothers, your sisters, and your communities and so forth. If we have the commandments of the Most High in our hearts and we practice on the precepts, we will see less of these killings on black and so forth. Now, the scriptures say we are the chosen, right? Now we should look at ourselves and look at our neighbors as one and the same. Love thyself, love thy neighbor, right? Verse 11, in that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Now we're at the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 17. For the very true beginning of her, which is wisdom, is a desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love. Verse 18, and love is the keeping of her laws. I repeat, and love is the keeping of her laws. And the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption. So now we're in the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? For whom did he ever despise that calleth upon him? Verse 11, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, and long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. Verse 12, woe be to fearful hearts, and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways. Meaning what? 1 Corinthians 10 and 21, ye cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. You have to pick a side. There has to be a line drawn in the sand. Verse 13, woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? Verse 15, they that fear the Lord will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways. And what are the ways of the Most High? It's not about religion. It's not about all these different religious sects. It's about keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. That is keeping his way, and that's showing that you love the Most High. Verse 16, they that fear the Lord will seek that which is well, pleasing unto him, who, the Most High, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. So to love the Most High is to love the law, statutes, and commandment. So therefore, the law is not done away with. You can have faith all day, but if you don't adhere to the law to the best of your abilities, then what is faith? Faith without works, right? Now we're at Luke chapter 18, verse 19. And Jesus, or Yahweh, said unto him, why callest thou me good? None is good save one, and that is God. Okay? So this Trinity doctrine is not scriptural based. There's only one creator. Verse 20, thou knowest the commandments, do not commit adultery, do not kill, do not steal, do not bear false witness, honor thy father and thy mother. Now why would Jesus or Yahweh say this? One would have to conclude that he followed the Torah, the law of Moses, the law of the Most High, right? Now we're at Deuteronomy chapter 6. We're going to start at verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments, which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it, that thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments. The Most High is dealing with laws, statutes, and commandments. He's not dealing with the world's religions, okay? Which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that all thy days may be prolonged. Now it says the days may be prolonged. If we teach our children the commandments, the precepts, the statutes of the Most High, their life will be prolonged. It doesn't get more simpler than that. But oftentimes our people are taught that the Bible is a so-called white man's book. And we see a lot of curses and plagues on the so-called black community, while the young or the youth are dying at an early age. Why is that? Verse 3, hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord God of thy fathers has promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Verse 4, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, no Trinity. Verse 5, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. Verse 6, and these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart. Verse 7, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.